Well, today's Legal on 4 segment affects us all. Bad enough seeing flashing lights in your rearview mirror, but now we're getting surprises in the mail. Surprise! Tickets from those speed enforcement and red light cameras. What should you do if you get a citation in the mail? A lot of people wondering and debating this. Our legal contributor Craig Wisdom with some pointers. Lots of places around Tucson that you can get your picture taken.
Exactly. There's about 8 intersections where they have cameras permanently mounted. And
that's the red lights.
Yeah, and speeding as well.
Right. They're two in the same. But then they're you know, like on Sunrise and on River, there's just the
speed cameras, and then there's also the movable photo vans that move around from place to place. Those only will take your picture if you're coming from behind them in terms of the speed and such. Generally, the speeding tickets, they get you if you're 11 miles over the limit in a normal area and more than 5 miles over in a school zone.
So they don't mess around in schools.
No.
Be very careful. And they like to park the vans in the school
Yes,
zones,
they do.
don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you can be alerted. You can look in the newspaper. You can look online,
yes,
I think, and find out where these vans are going to be. I mean,
and try to drive safely. Yes, and try to drive safely too.
Try to drive safely and just be cognizant. It's everywhere, and they're mobile.
Exactly.
So.
But then you have to be aware of if you get one of these tickets, you have to look at exactly what it is and what it isn't. Okay, now just because you see the flashes go off and somebody got snapped, does that mean they're going to get the ticket? Not necessarily. What happens is they download about once a day from all those cameras the photos, and they match them up with the license plates. And about 10% of these just get thrown out by the police officer reviewing them as being something that you can't identify the person at all, so it's not even worth bothering.
Identify because they match it up with who's registered to the vehicle?
If they can't tell, basically it's too blurry a picture, they throw it out. If they match it up with a driver's license photo on file with the MVD, of the person that owns the car, then they send them a citation. And that's important because that is essentially the same type of ticket you'd get if a policeman stops you personally, except for the fact it's missing the service of process, which is required to
and that's the
make
big
it
debate.
stick.
A lot of people say, well, I didn't get served, this doesn't count, I'm going to ignore it. But you say there's risk involved.
The risk is, if you ignore that, they can send someone out to serve you, and once they've got your photo and they've got the service, then you've got this valid violation against you. You might have less options as far as the defensive driving that they may have given you a chance at first at, and you may also have to pay the costs of the service, which isn't that big a deal, but generally if they send you the citation, they've caught you. Now whether they'll follow through with the service of process,
well,
they do frequently.
You don't want to have them tack on extra fees and fines and things because this is already a big ticket to begin with. These are over $200, $260, $280, just depending. I mean, it's going to hurt. Exactly.
So, and it's always intimidating. It depends on your personality whether you say, I'm going to be as skeptical as I can about this and ignore it, or I'm going to instantly send in the money and sign. Because when you send it in, when they send you the citation, and one of the things you're signing is, hey, I waive the responsibility that you have to serve me.
Okay, now, sometimes though they do, if your photo doesn't match the picture taken, they'll still send it to you.
What they send you is different, and this is the one with a lot less teeth, and this is the notice of violation, where they say, you own this car, we snapped this picture of someone else violating the law, and we want you to tell us who it is and send it back to us.
And people feel compelled to tell.
They do, and yet even when you read these documents, although it's naturally intimidating to get this document from the police or the MVD, it says in there you're not really required to do this.
Can you ignore the whole thing, or do you have to respond? You
generally can ignore those. Now again, if they end up finding out who it is and then serving them, they can tack on those same service of process fees. But of course, the odds of them doing that are a lot different than when they think they have the citation for the person that actually did it.
All right, food for thought.
Yeah, so read them carefully and look at what it is that they send you.
Gamble, I guess, if you will, at your own risk. Thanks, Craig. Okay, identity thieves.